This morning, University of Uyo holds orientation for its 2014-2015 pre-degree and basic studies students. Newly recruited staff in the Ministry of Works advised to uphold work ethics. President Jonathan commissions 4 naval warships. Details shortly. Good morning and welcome to AKBC 45 News. I am Mathlin Mbong. The University of Uyo has held an orientation for fresh students of its pre-degree and basic studies programs for the 2014-2015 school year. The exercise, which took place at the Emil Manor campus in Yenabak, was declared open by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Comfort Ibo. Yagano Paul has details.
Welcoming the guests to the orientation exercise, the Director of Pre-Degree Studies, Professor Iniebong Oko, said the exercise is aimed at sensitizing the freshmen on the ethical codes and other expectations of the university. Professor Oko said the Emil Manor campus hosts 2 programs, the pre-degree and basic studies, adding that the programs are built for a year.
This exercise is significant because it is the first formal forum at which the new students enjoy the company of the Vice Chancellor and the members of the University Management, members of the Board of Pre-Degree Studies, as well as other officers of the University. This is why we look forward to this event and enlighten the students on the need to savour this rare privilege.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Comfort Ibo, advised the freshmen to regard their admission as a opportunity and to make the best in their stay in the campus. Ibo said the University of Uyo looks up to the pre and basic studies new intake to be admitted into the undergraduate programs, noting that when they excel, they will be placed in 100 level as well as 200 level through direct entry. The Vice Chancellor to abide by the rules and regulations governing the university, study hard, give no room for examination malpractice, and make the best use of their time. She lauded the management of the campus for making plans to give the students hostel complex.
The one academic year that you spend in the pre-degree and basic studies program is meant to intensively prepare you not just to pass the required qualifying examination, but to acquire extra knowledge, values, and skills that should make you remarkably different.
In their lectures on students' ethical conduct, the library as a veritable resource for academic excellence, academic conduct, and examination misconduct, the university librarian, Professor Felicia, the chairman, Senate Business Committee, Professor Nefio Udo, and Regina Ikbat enjoined the freshmen to be self-disciplined, imbibe good ethical values, as well as build good moral character. The lecturer said for students to have required academic conduct, they should avoid examination malpractice, make good grades, make good university library, and cultivate good reading habits.
So each student is supposed to work at a maximum level towards a set standard. Each student being outstanding and extremely good in academics.
I will refer to it as the way that students are expected to act or behave in line with the rules and regulations guiding academic activities in the university in order to be in good standing as students of the institution.
Other lectures were presented on essence of early fees, validation of studentship, healthy living, security matters by Director of Academic Affairs, the Director of Medical Services, Dr. I. Enang, and Dean of Students Affairs, Dr. Isonweset Solomon. The freshmen were given a chance to learn the University of Uyo and them. report.
Two newly recruited staff of the Ministry of Works have been charged to put in their best in the discharge of their duties in order for the ministry to achieve its target result. The permanent secretary in the ministry, Dr. Ifekekwa, gave the charge while addressing the new staff. Correspondent has more details.
But congratulated the new officers for scaling through the competitive selection exercise to be found fit to serve in the civil service. Describing the Ministry of Works as the hope of the uncommon transformation, Dr. Ekpa said that the ministry plays a crucial role in the transformation agenda, which, according to him, is evident in every nook and cranny of the state. He explained that the meeting was to acquaint the new officers of the day-to-day running of the ministry, adding that they are not only expected to be regular at work, but also. The permanent secretary stressed the need for them to adhere to the civil service code and warn them against keeping two jobs.
I'm sure by now some of us must have been familiar with the rudimentary rules of service. You must have known when to report for work and when to leave the office. The official opening time for work is 8 a.m. and the closing time is 4 p.m. So that means for 8 hours or 5 days in a week, Monday to Friday, you have to devote your time, work, and actually earn the money. You don't just take it, you earn it.
Mr. of the Geology Department, Secretary and heads of directorates for the warm reception accorded them and pledged to imprint marks in the ministry and civil service as a whole.
I'm standing here to say on behalf of my colleagues that we are going to be dedicated to the work, we are going to complete and improve the existing of the ministry and the best of our knowledge.
The ministry by all heads of directorates and departments, senior staff, as
Corps members who served their service year with the Ministry of Transport have been advised to put to practice what they learned during the period. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Dr. Effiong Obia, gave the advice during the send-off of 6 Batch A Corps members who served in the ministry. The story is here read in our studio.
Dr. Effiong Obia explained that the service year was a training session for Corps members since it exposed them to real-life situations. He said the period equally taught them how to manage their finances and time, as well as how to cope with pressure, emphasizing that Christians among them equally learned to pay tithes from their meager incomes. The Permanent Secretary harped on the need for Christians to pay tithes as, according to him, tithes open one's financial breakthroughs. He expressed appreciation to the Batch A Corps members for their commitment and selfless service to their fatherland and prayed God to guide them safely home to their parents and loved ones.
We all know that the world is no bed of roses. That even if it was, the roses have thorns that can prick. So when you're lying on the wall, you be careful because there are thorns all over. One thing you will be rest assured is that by the time you get linked up with God, nothing will be impossible for you. No matter how far you want to go in life, so long as you are well connected with the divine source, it will be possible for you.
Also speaking, the Principal Administrative Officer in the Ministry of Transport, Mrs. Mary Justin, enjoined the outgoing Corps members to exhibit a greater sense of commitment wherever they may find themselves, as this might yield greater dividends and elevation. Responding on behalf of the Corps members, Mr. Hogan Omo thanked the Ministry of Transport for accommodating them and promised to heed to all the pieces of advice given them. Gift items were presented to the outgoing Batch A Corps members.
The need to promote peace and unity among the people of the state has again been emphasized. The chairman of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Akwa Ibom State Council, Elder Patrick Albert, stated this shortly after performing the kickoff of the second edition of the Ambassador Ukai football tournament tagged Football, Symbol of Unity in Akwa Ibom State. Elder Albert commended the sponsor of the tournament, Mr. Emmanuel Ukai, for organizing the competition to promote unity through sports, and urged politicians to conduct the activities in a way and manner that would promote unity and consolidate the gains of democratic process. According to him, people should resist being misguided, but should stand up for the unity and togetherness of their communities. He said that football, apart from being a very important force in bringing people of diverse background together, has now become a big income earner for the players and the society. Still ahead, junior secondary 2 students of Top Faith International Secondary School in Batak, Esianodum local government area, have visited Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation. Details shortly after the break.
Therefore, it's a man military. When finally, His Excellency Ajopo military, they can be no better than what Moses. When you look at what you get, I get a point of Joseph Agapanda. I'm not going for Pharaoh. And I'm out for Pharaoh. Sitting on a quarter of the man looking around there, when they make a fool of him. Oh, Roma is the first one of the somebody in a man. You know, it's like
Udom is right and fast. For Udom is the best. For Akwa Ibom said, Udom is right and fast. Behold our next governor.
Welcome back. Junior Secondary 2 students of Top Faith International Secondary School in Batak, a Senadum local government area, have visited Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation to familiarize themselves with the workings of the broadcast industry. On arrival at Ntaganyang transmitting station, the students were received by the chief reporter, Mr. Israel Thompson, who took them around the different units, including television newsroom, the editing suites, and studios, where they were educated on the various processes involved in television news broadcasting.
We process all the news. You can see the editor sits there. As of now, the editor has gone out for some other work. The production editor and other sub-editors and assistant that will help while the editor is editing the news. The production editor will make sure the news is
After radio service, the students inspected the transmitter, the studios, and the radio newsroom. At hand to brief the students were the Director Technical Service, Reverend James Okoria, and a Principal Presentation Officer, Mr. Edo Ikan.
Work on it before it sends out. Even though we have also done certain things here, like this knobs is attuned. We tune it to the way we want it, to be melodious, to be high frequency, to have some bass, have some treble, alto, and things like that. Make it beautiful.
In an interview, the class teacher, Mr. Otobong Abraham, said the students embarked on the excursion to enable them gain practical knowledge in broadcasting.
It cannot only take place in the classroom. There are other avenues or places where the children can learn and have more knowledge. So we thought it wise that we should bring them to AKBC transmission station.
Residents of Edemesian and Port Harcourt streets off Okanafort Street in your local government area have appealed to authorities of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to relocate and replace modern high-tension poles and wires along the streets. According to them, the poles have outlived and are giving in due to heavy downpour in recent times, a situation they said threatens lives of people in the area. They called on relevant agencies to come to their aid by replacing and relocating the poles from the residential area. Those who spoke were Barrister Ede Tesang, Elder Emmanuel Ntia, and Mr. Eteka Basso.
Schools here that we are saying have been here since on 70s. So the whole thing has dropped away. They're supposed to come and change the whole pillars or pools, as the case may be, but there's nothing done. I've met to understand, and I'm aware we have written to the appropriate quarters to know about.
I do remember so dangerous, so I get the dangerous parking on my back. If now this is my workshop, I mean, they get an eye and the motor was somebody. So, that was an imbalance. Go back to the work. They could not have.
Our problem in this neighborhood is the high tension that run across roof of thickly populated people. This high tension pole here was erected even before the war. They have outlived their age, eaten by moth, like you see this one here. This is a threat from the underground. The moth canker worm have eaten this one now.
And now to the international news scene. President Goodluck Jonathan has commissioned 4 naval warships for use by the Navy to combat security challenges. Mercy Okere reports on these and more in a national foreign news segment.
Goodluck Jonathan has commissioned 4 naval warships at Naval Dockyard in Lagos.
Commissioning of NS Sagbama by the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for the use of the Nigerian Navy to defend our nation and protect our territorial waters. And we are doing this commissioning in the honor of Almighty Father.
The ships are NNS Okpabama, NNS Sagbama, NNS Centenary, and NNS Prosperity. The new warship enhance the Navy's operational capabilities against security challenges, especially on the nation's maritime domain. The commissioning is part of the federal government's transformation agenda to re-equip the Nigerian armed forces to meet contemporary challenges. In Ghana, a mass demonstration against worsening electricity shortages have been held. The demonstration was organized by the New Patriotic Party, NPP. Placards that read, "We need our money," and "Businesses are collapsing." Ghana is currently shedding between 440 and 650 megawatts of power during off-peak and peak periods as a result of production deficits. U.S. President Barack Obama has said that the U.S. is not at war with Islam, but at war with those who have perverted the religion. He was speaking to representatives from 60 nations at a summit at a 3-day event on extremism that in Denmark and France. Added that the world confronts the ideologies that radicalized people. Those groups like Islamic State and Al-Qaeda were not leaders but terrorists.
We are not at war with Islam. We are at war with people who have perverted Islam.
There has been an explosion that has ripped through a gasoline unit at a refinery near Los Angeles. 4 were injured. Investigations are ongoing to find out the cause of the explosion. A warning has been issued to the local to stay with the doors shut due to smoke. Greasy the conservative 203 to 30 votes to be named president. He received the main center-right opposition party and the new left-wing government led by Mr. Alexis Tsipras. The 7-year-old's appointment ends the dialogue over the presidential session that triggered snap general elections last month. Over from 85-year-old Carlos, whose 5-year term ends in March.
That's it from the foreign news scene. Don't forget, you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging onto akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45EU or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 44. That has been the package on the news. But before we go, a recap of the major highlights. We brought you a story on the University of Uyo has held orientation for its 2014-2015 pre-degree and basic studies program. We also brought you reports that President Goodluck Jonathan has commissioned 4 naval warships for the Navy to combat security challenges. That was the news, and thank you for staying with us. I am Methne Mbong.
Accurately informative.